Welcome. This is lesson 3 of week 1. My name is Mildred. In this lesson, we are going to look at the element that comes within the body tag of the document. We are going to start with the heading element. To write heading on the page, we have 6 levels of heading, H1 to H6, with H1 being the most important heading and H6 being the least important heading. So you want to write your main heading within the H1 tag and your subheadings or the next important heading H2 and then H3 down to H6. So let's say I want to write a heading called my first web page and I want to write a subheading on the page, so I'll use the H2 tag. So we can have these headings in 6 layers. I'm going to use the H1 to H6 so that we can see the size and the presentation of each heading level. So I'll change this to H3 and this to H4 and this to H5 and this to H. When we go to our web page, we are going to find the main heading, which is my first web page, and then the other levels of heading. H1 is the biggest, followed by H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. It is important that you use the heading tags only for headings. Now, when you design your web page, you have to bear in mind accessibilities. For people who have a disability and are going to be using screen readers, you want the web page or the screen reader to be able to read the web page properly. Also, some of these order of arrangement of tags is important for search engines, so you always want to use the tags for what they are meant for. So do not use a heading tag to try to make a text within a paragraph bold or big. Use heading tags for headings. Now we have our web page with a heading on it. If we want to write a block of text, we use a tag called a paragraph tag written with P. Within the start and end paragraph tag, we type in the block of text we want for the page. So let me say I want to type the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. When I save this and I refresh my page, I should find my main heading, my subheading, and the text on the page. So I'll refresh my page and I have the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So this is basically how we design a web page. We've learned how to use the heading and how to use a paragraph. A paragraph tag always starts on a new line, but text within a paragraph will run to the end of the screen. So let's assume that I want to type in more text. What I will do is copy this and paste it several times for us to have a lot of text to save time. And I'm going to copy more of that text to make me. So now take note that I ended the line here, I started a new line, but this does not format the text. On the web page, it is going to run until the end of the screen. The only way to start a new line without having to start a paragraph is to use something we call the break tag. The break tag is a void element written BR. You can self-close by putting a / after. And with the break tag, you will find out that the first line is going to be by itself because I have given the browser an instruction to start the next word after the break tag on a new line. And so when I refresh this page, you will find the first line by itself. So whenever you want to start a new line without starting a new paragraph, you use the break tag like that. We have elements whose sole purpose in life is to format the text on the page. Let's say we want to make the nouns on this page in bold. There is a tag, the B tag, bold tag. Text within the bold tag will appear in bold on the page. So I want the fox to be bold and I want the dog to be in bold. When I save this, I will have my first line having the fox in bold and then the dog in bold. So I'll refresh my page and I have fox and dog written in bold. There is another tag you can use to make a text bold, but the purpose of the tag is to show how strongly important that text is. This is important for accessibility. Although all you see here is bold, it gives an extra importance to the text within the tag. So I put strong, and when I refresh, I won't see a difference because it remains in bold. So when you use the bold tag and you use the strong tag, always ensure that you are writing your code with accessibility and screen readers in mind. So if you want the screen reader to have a different level of importance for this text, rather than put it in bold, you use strong. We have another formatting element. If you want to make this text appear in italics, you use the I tag like this and close I. So the text between the start and the end I tag is going to appear in italics on the page. The fox is now in italics. If you want to emphasize this text, it will appear in italics, but the screen reader is going to read this text with emphasis. And so I'm going to refresh, and you won't find a difference. It will remain in italics, but the screen reader reads this with emphasis because you use the EM tag. If you want to underline a text, you can use the U tag to underline the text. When I refresh, 4 is now underlined. So you can underline a text, a sentence, or a whole paragraph if you wish. You want to strike through a text, we use the delete DEL tag, and this is going to appear on the page, but it's going to be strike through like this. Let's say we are deleting fox to replace fox with cats. We're going to use something called the insert INS, and then I'll put cat and I'll close INS. When I save this and I refresh my page, I will see that fox is cancelled and cat is inserted, and everything you insert is going to be underlined. There are other formatting elements that we use. For instance, if we want to write a superscript and a subscript, let's say I want to start a new paragraph here, and I want to write the formula for, let's use sulfuric acid for instance, and the formula is H2SO4. I'm going to make this in capital letter, H2SO. Now when I write this and I refresh my web page, it's just written H2SO4. We want the 2 to be a subscript and the 4 to be a subscript. What I will do is to use, before the 2, I will use the sub tag, and I'm going to end the sub tag after the 2, and then before the 4 I will use the sub tag, and I'll end the sub tag after the 4. When I save this and I refresh my web page, we'll find that the formula is written properly. If I want to use superscript instead, if I want to write, let's say 2 raised to the power of 3, if I write this on the web page, it looks like 23, but when I use the sub before the 3, SUP, and after the 3, save, and I refresh, I have 2 raised to the power of 3. There is another formatting element that we can use. Let's say I want to make a particular text smaller within the paragraph. There is a tag called the small tag, written small. I want the quick to be written smaller than the other text. I'm going to save this, and when we go to this line, when I refresh my page, we'll find that that text quick is written smaller than the other text on the page. We have another tag called the mark tag that we use to highlight a particular text. Maybe I want this to be highlighted in yellow. I'm going to put mark. I'm going to refresh my page, so instead of being small, it is going to be highlighted in yellow. So these are the most important formatting tags that you will most likely be using in designing a web page. We are going to use them as we go along. In summary, we have a B tag, which we use to make a text bold. We can also use a strong tag to make bold, but this just gives that text a particular level of importance that the bold tag does not give. We have the I tag to make text in italics. We use the EM, the emphasize tags, to put the text in italics but create an emphasis for screen readers. We also have the P tag that we use to start a paragraph. We have the break tag, which is a void element that we use to start a new line. We have the small tag that we use to make the text smaller, the mark tag that we use to highlight a text, the delete tag to strike through, the U tag to underline a text. We also have the insert to insert a new text where we delete a text or where a text was strike through. We have the superscript and the subscript, sub and sub, that we use to make text in superscript and subscript. This is where we end this lesson, and this ends week 1. In week 2, we are going to introduce cascading style sheet.